Hello friends and welcome, it's Mike here again with another video where I changed the format entirely. Today, instead of the usual lore drops that I usually do, I thought it'd be fun to do some speculation based on the amount of information we have so far on the god who will die. For those who don't know, Paisio has said that the War of Immortals coming out soon is going to include the death of one of the core deities in the Golarion setting. So, who will that be? Let's look at that today on Golarion in depth. Okay, so here is what we know so far. The War of Immortals is a rollback expected to be released in October of 24. During Gen Con of 23, Luis Loza announced that one of the core deities would die. We also know that Lost Omen's Divine Mysteries was announced, and this lore-focused book will update the Pathfinder 2 core rule deities as part of the Pathfinder Remastered project. Creative director Luis Loza has released some vital clues as to who this deity might be. One and only one of the core 20 deities will be dying. After this god's death, Arazni will be filling the empty slots in the core 20. Arazni's not taking over any of the dead gods' portfolio. This god's death has been planned for a long time, as far back as summer of 2022. It is not tied to the OGL or Orc considerations. Starfinder canon has no bearing on whether a god will live or die. The core deity is not the only god that will be dying. Other gods will die as part of this War of Immortals, but only one god from the core 20. Luis Loza has also said that there have been some hints setting up some kind of development with Torag, some of the pantheons would be changing, and confirmed that the prismatic ray would indeed be changing. The God's Reign prophecies on the Paisio blog has served as a sort of countdown for different deities who were safe and would not die as part of the War of Immortals. These include Erastil, Caden Kalian, Pharasma, Asmodeus, and Ugathoa. This leaves 15 gods on the chopping block. It is not unlike Paisio to use established mythos in their ever-growing lore. This can be seen with the Cthulhu mythos and Lovecraftian horrors. There are heavy implications that the god Nethys acquired his knowledge from the outer god Nyarlathotep. This shattered his mind, and this shattered god may find his untimely death at the hands of the outer gods themselves. Although I personally think this would be an interesting story, I do not think that Paisio is going this way, and I have not found any evidence to point to Nethys. There is a line hidden at the very end of Lost Omen's High Helm, after the credits, that reads, "Torag's might alone will never be enough. You must learn to stand together and rely on each other." This may hint at Torag's death, but I don't think this is the case. It is more likely that Torag will simply be distracted from the affairs of mortals as he is engaged in the War of Immortals. We know that the new goddess in town is Arazni. Arazni has had animosity towards Iomedae and has already acquired some of her followers in the form of the Crimson Reclaimers. Could it be that a battle between Arazni and Iomedae is on the horizon? And if so, will the youngest of the core 20 die? These all are interesting choices and could lead to some epic adventures, but I think there is one more likely confrontation that is inbound. For time immemorable, the goddess Shaylin had hoped for the redemption of her half-brother Dubrawl from the twisted perversion that he had become, Zon-Kuthon. Zon-Kuthon had become the god of mutilation, misery, and torture. And for his crimes against Shaylin and his own father, the gods of Golarion had banished him to the plane of shadows, there to reside for as long as the sun hung in the sky. Legend speaks to a quarrel between Shaylin and Zon-Kuthon sometime after the Age of Darkness. Zon-Kuthon responded to Shaylin's tear and pleading with violence until she wrestled a weapon, a golden glaive, away from him, and a tenuous peace of silence and avoidance was established between them. Likewise, Shaylin's paramour, Sarenrae, has been known for her forgiveness and redemption. But let us not forget that Sarenrae is also known for acts of violence. Her followers, of which there are many on Golarion, are taught to oppose evil everywhere with words first, but, when necessary, to strike down evil with scimitar and flame. Could it be that Sarenrae's patience has run thin and that she's finally ready to make an attack on Zon-Kuthon? Light versus darkness in an epic battle. And if Sarenrae were to die, would that mean that the sun no longer hung in the sky, allowing Zon-Kuthon to return to the material plane and create a second age of darkness? Win or lose, what would this mean for the relationship between Shaylin and Sarenrae? Would Shaylin side with her lover, or seek redemption for her brother? Which side of the fight would she be on? So if I had to pick which god would die in the War of Immortals, it would be Sarenrae. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I'd like to really see some discussion going on this topic. And until next time, happy gaming.